Another 3 months has come and gone, with that another season of Destiny. This time it's Season of the Wish. Let's talk about how it works. Starting off with one of the two new game modes, we have Riven's Lair, a 3-player activity sorta similar to Savathûn Spire. Inside Riven's Lair, there will be different objectives that you have to do. Some of them require you to stand on 3 plates that are surrounded by different types of traps, while other rooms will ask you to kill enemies in similar ways you've used to kill other enemies in other seasonal activities, like grabbing a Vex Cranium and using it to kill another Vex Construct box across the room. You know the deal. There are 4 different pathways, and you will randomly get one when you load into Riven's Lair. Each pathway has a unique boss at the end and a different type of trap area. Now, if you do want to see all 4 different pathways in a single run, I do recommend that you play The Coil. The Coil is a match-made 3-player activity that can be run solo, and the difficulty will scale based on the number of players in your fire team. Now, like I mentioned before, you will run through all 4 different pathways in one session. Yes, to fully complete this activity, it takes a long time. Put aside 20 to 30 minutes before you jump into these. The best way I can describe this mode is that it's basically a compact roguelite run. You basically do a run, then you're brought back to the hub, buy some buffs, and then do it again. If you played Hades or other roguelites like that, it's pretty similar. These buffs do come at different tiers of strength and are bought with a currency exclusive to this mode called Fused Wishing Glass, which from now on I'm going to shorten to Glass. The first tier has some buffs like 25% increased damage when in the air, or 20% decreased damage taken from bosses, and some other stuff. The third tier, being the strongest, has some of the best buffs, but are also the most expensive, at 400 glass per buff. Some of the buffs in this tier come with 200% super recharge speed and 25% extra damage on power weapons. As you can see, these are strong buffs, but like I said, they're balanced by the price. I'm pretty sure that these buffs do rotate every time you load into this activity, because there's been times when I've loaded into it and haven't gotten the plus 25% damage bonus when in the air. So do with that information what you will. Try to come in with the best build that you possibly can, and then use the best buffs as possible that are available to you in that run. Now, to get the glass to spend on these buffs, you need to collect these shards that are in the trap platforming areas. You will see these vases around the area that you need to smash. Yes, this is a call to all the gamers who used to play Zelda and Souls games and other types of gamers who smash every type of destructible object in games. I'm being dead serious. If you see any type of vase on the ground, break it. It will literally make or break your runs. There are also these glowing enemies called glass collectors, and I'm pretty sure they only spawn in the trap platforming areas. Kill them as soon as possible because they drop even more rare shards like the red and purple shards. These shards give you even more score than you would normally get from the white shards. There is also some secret chests that are only unlocked once you hit a certain score threshold. These secret chest rooms have 2 chests, and one of them being trapped. Now, besides the 2 chests in this room, there's usually also 5 to 8 vases, so you know what to do. Get to smashing. The amount of shards you get is integral to your score, so you can go for platinum, as well as increasing the amount of glass you will get at the end of a run when you get back to Riven. For every 100 score you get 1 glass. So for example, if you had, let's say, 20,000 score at the end of the run, you're gonna go back to Riven and have 200 glass. Now, I believe the community has confirmed that to get platinum score, you need 140,000 points. Since the average playtime of a coil is 30 to 45 minutes, no matter the score you have in the end, you should always go for platinum. I cannot stress this enough. You should always go for platinum because, to be honest with you, anything else is a waste of time. That's why I said collecting those shards from those vases is an integral piece to your score, because 95% of the shards you will get will be coming for those vases, so do not miss it. And a good tip for you guys to not miss the secret chest is to put on the chest detector or a wombo detector mod on your ghost. Another reason I'm stressing that you go for platinum so hard is because at the end of a platinum run, you will get 4 chests that everyone can open and 2 chests that will drop specific loot that's shown above the chest. To open one of these chests, I'm pretty sure you need lair keys, because I was not able to open the second one after I was out of keys. So pick wisely. If you want a gun, pick the gun. If you want the armor, pick the armor. But if you have enough keys to open both, you should be able to get both. These 4 chests, and not including the 2 chests that you have to use lair keys for, give great loot. I'm talking amazing loot, like deep sight seasonal weapons, ascended shards, ascended alloys, and even more, on top of all the loot you'll be getting from opening secret chests along the way. There's a good chance that your character and maybe even your postmaster might be full from how much loot you're getting. I am going to mention that as you do each run will become more difficult than the last. You start at -5 power and then you will end at -20. Basically a master Nightfall level. So be prepared, and remember, once you run out of lives, that's it. You're going back to orbit. There's no checkpoints. But do remember, if you have all the buffs that you want, you can spend 100 glass on some revive tokens if you're in a pinch. Now, another piece of advice, and this may sound a little bit rude, but from my experience, the match-made version of the coil is very iffy. Because most times when I got to the 3rd wave in my run, we usually ran out of lives and died, and we didn't get that much loot. That happened multiple times, but the second I went to the LFG Discord, we got it done the first time. So this may want to be something that you get a couple of friends together and do it a couple of times. It's a fun activity and maybe a long one as well, but like I said, it gives you great loot and is well worth your time if you do it correctly. Like I said, go for platinum, smash those vases, and have a good one. Now that both activities has been explained, I'm gonna give some thoughts in my biased opinion, because I love roguelikes in all forms, and seeing Bungie lead into this style of gameplay makes me happy enough to say that this is probably my favorite seasonal activity that has ever been released, and I'm not joking. It's the mixture of roguelikes and a sort of horde mode where you come back to the base, get your loot, and go back and do it again. Now, I do wish that we could literally have a roguelike mode where we legitimately start from scratch, like you start with a Kvastov and you slowly build your build up until you get to like the last final boss, and then you're done. Basically like Hades. And I feel like it would be so much fun, but hey, who knows? We might actually get that. Bungie, if you can somehow find a way to add a game mode like this, like some type of PvE game mode with this level of difficulty and roguelike gameplay, I would play the crap out of it. It is so much fun. Please let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. This is probably the highlight of the season for me. This season's story is all about finding a way to open an entrance for us to chase after the witness into the Traveler. At the end of Season of the Witch, Savathun shared a code for a wish from Riven to open said entranceway. Mara goes and gets her Tekins, the people to basically summon the ghost of Riven, so we can ask her to grant said wish. And she tells us to basically go F ourselves, because we killed her and the rest of the eggs that we knew existed, and she basically owes us nothing. So we end up bargaining with an Ahamkara's ghost and come to a deal. If we collect all of Riven's eggs that she has hidden across the plains, she will grant our wish, but only when we find all the eggs. With that being said, the only thing we have left to talk about is the mission that came with the first week of the season, but that's gonna lead into my negatives for this season. So let's start with that. If I'm remembering this incorrectly, please correct me in the comments, but I definitely remember Bungie saying that this was going to be the season that we would finally see the changes that we recommended that they do to the seasonal model because we're getting tired of it. I could have sworn they said things were going to change, and maybe that's why we got episodes, and if so, that's okay, I guess. But I can't be the only one who went into the Riven's Lair activity, then went to do this week's mission and was astonished to see that the mission and the Riven's Lair that I just did were literally the exact same play area. The only thing different from that area in Riven's Lair and the mission that you play for this week is the dialogue that plays during the mission and the egg you find at the end. That's it. After writing this video, I now know that there are 4 pathways in Riven's Lair, and I just so happened to get the same exact pathway as the mission right before I played the mission, making me feel like this was copy and pasted. But still, y'all ain't thinking this is gonna happen beforehand? None of y'all thought this was gonna be a bad idea? Now, to get on a high note right before I go crashing back down, this season seems like the best part of Season of the Deep and Season of the Witch, which in theory should be great, on top of my interest in the story, but so far, it's just another season. To give you an example on how I'm feeling, an ogre in Destiny 2 is usually ugly, distasteful, and dangerous. Now, if you take that same ogre and dress it up a bit, give it a wig, a dress, and maybe some makeup, it may look a bit better, but at the end of the day, it's still an ogre. Every season for the past couple of years has been the same exact thing, and I feel like the majority of the community, including me, is burnt out on it. That is why no matter how good the season is, we always go back to the same mantra of enjoying the new season for the first couple of days, and at this point, it might not even be that, and then we go right back to being bored out of our minds. To close the video, I'm going to end this on the starter pack controversy, since it did launch during the season. The starter pack was a pack of 3 exotics with some upgrade materials and some cosmetics for $15. Now, Bungie, what in your right mind were you thinking? Did you think that releasing this would help you recoup the losses of 45%? Did you think maybe it could make us some money? Or was it something else? This is just something we'll never know. But what I do know is that this is a terrible choice and moves us closer to this game becoming pay to win. If this is just a starting point, what's to stop them from locking some of the best exotics in the game behind another paywall outside of expansions, huh? This could be the beginning of a long and treacherous road that I, for one, don't want to be on. I constantly defend this game like the white knight people keep saying I am, thinking that this is a great game and people just need to give it a chance. Through the expensive expansions and terrible new player experience, I've stuck with this game through thick and thin. Now, with that being said, Bungie has removed this from all storefronts, but I still have an awful taste in my mouth that this was even greenlit and released. All in all, it's sad to say that I'm more excited that the season is longer so I can go play other games than I am excited that a new season of Destiny is here. And I never thought I would say those words, but it's the truth, and it's a sad one.